Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
One introduction. Argentina is a big country in South America. For a long time, it has faced many challenges. One of the biggest problems is about money. The economy is not stable. This means that prices for everyday things like food and transport often increase very quickly. This is difficult for the people who live there. Many people in Argentina felt tired of these old problems. They believed the country needed a new direction. They wanted a leader who would do something different. In December of 2023, the country elected a new president. His name is Javier Milei. He quickly became a famous person, not just in Argentina, but all over the world. He is well known because his style is very different from other world leaders. He is not a traditional politician, and his ideas are new and strong. Many people are watching him to see what he will do. Javier Milei looks and acts in a unique way. He is famous for his wild hair, which is often messy. When he gives speeches, he is not quiet. He speaks with a lot of energy and emotion. He shouts and moves his hands a lot. He does not always wear a formal suit and tie. His personality is strong, and he says exactly what he thinks. This makes him a very interesting and sometimes surprising figure in politics. This book will tell the story of Javier Milei's life. It is an unusual journey. We will look at who he was before he became famous. We will learn about his time as a young student, a musician, and an expert on economics. The story will explain how he entered politics and shared his ideas with the people of Argentina. It is the story of how a television celebrity became the leader of a country. 2. The Boy and the Music. Javier was a very active boy. When he was young, he had a lot of energy, much more than other children his age. At school, his friends and teachers noticed this immediately. He was not a quiet child who sat still at his desk all day. He liked to move, talk, and express his ideas loudly. Because of his personality, other students gave him a special name. They called him El Loco. In English, this means the crazy one. They did not say it to be mean. They called him this because he was always full of life and did everything with great passion. He was different from many other children in his class. This energy was a big part of who he was, even as a young student. Before he was interested in politics or money, Javier had two big loves, sports and music. His first passion was soccer. He was very good at it and played in an important position on the field. He was a goalkeeper for a youth team called Chacarita Juniors. A goalkeeper has a very difficult job. They must protect the goal and stop the other team from scoring. It requires a person to be brave, quick, and completely focused. Javier used his high energy to be a great player. He spent many hours practicing with his team after school. For a time, playing soccer was his main dream, and many people thought he could become a professional player one day. But soccer was not his only interest. Javier also loved music, especially rock music. His favorite band was a famous group from England called the Rolling Stones. He listened to their songs all the time and knew all the words. He liked their powerful sound and their energetic style. This love for music was more than just listening. Javier wanted to make music himself. So when he was a teenager, he decided to start a band with some of his friends. This was a new and exciting way for him to use his energy. Instead of stopping soccer balls, he was now ready to sing on a stage in front of an audience. His band was a cover band. This means they did not write their own songs. Instead, they learned and played famous songs by other bands that they loved. Of course, his band played many songs by the Rolling Stones. Javier was the singer. He was the person at the front of the stage with the microphone. He sang the words to the songs with a lot of passion and power. People who saw him perform said he was an exciting singer to watch. He moved around a lot, just like a real rock star. Being a goalkeeper and a rock singer were two very different things, but for young Javier, they were both perfect ways to express his powerful and unique personality. 3. Learning about money. Javier made a big change in his life. He enjoyed playing sports and singing in his band, but he felt he needed to do something different. He decided to leave his soccer team and focus on his studies. This was an important decision that changed his future. He wanted to go to the university and learn about a very serious subject, money. His new passion was economics. Economics is the study of how countries, businesses, and people make and use money. Javier was very interested in this because Argentina had many economic problems. Prices for food and other things often went up very fast. It was difficult for many families to save money. He wanted to understand the reasons for these problems. He believed that if he understood the problems, maybe he could find a way to fix them. At the university, he was a very good student. He read many books and spent long hours studying. After he finished his studies, he did not stop learning. He started a career as a professor. He taught classes at the university. His students learned about economics, finance, and mathematics from him. He was known as a smart teacher who had strong ideas. He liked to share his knowledge with the next generation of students. Besides teaching, Javier was also a writer. He wrote many articles and several books. In his writing, he explained his ideas about the economy. He wrote about why he thought Argentina's system was not working well. He explained what he believed the country needed to do to become rich and stable. His books were for other economists and for people who wanted to learn more about his ideas. For more than 20 years, Javier worked as an economist. He was not a politician. He worked for private companies and banks. He gave them advice about money and business. He was an expert and people paid to hear his opinions. His life was quiet and focused on his work. He was a professional who spent his days with numbers, charts, and economic theories. He was not famous yet. He was just a man with strong ideas about how money should work. 4. Famous on TV. Javier Milei worked for many years as an economist. He taught at universities and wrote books. But his life was about to change in a very big way. He was not a politician yet, but he had strong ideas about money and the government. Soon, the entire country would know his name. Television shows in Argentina often invite experts to talk about the news. One day, a TV show invited Javier to speak about the economy. This was the start of something new. When Javier spoke, he was not like the other guests. The other economists were often quiet and used difficult words. Javier was different. He was full of energy and emotion. He did not speak quietly. He shouted. When he talked about the government, he became very angry. He moved his hands a lot and his voice was loud. He said that the politicians were the problem. He complained that taxes were too high. He explained that the government spent too much money and this made life difficult for normal people. He said the economy was broken and needed big changes. His message was simple and direct. He did not use complicated economic words. He spoke in a way that everyone could understand. At first, people were surprised. They were not used to seeing an economist act this way on television, but many people liked it. They were tired of the old politicians and their calm promises. Argentina had many economic problems for a long time. Prices for food and transport were always going up. People felt that their money was worth less every month. They were angry, and Javier was angry too. He was like a voice for their feelings. Soon, Javier was on television all the time. He went on many different talk shows and news programs. People started to watch these shows just to see him. He became very popular. He was not just an economist anymore, he was a celebrity. When he walked down the street, people recognized him. They stopped him to talk or to take a photo with him. His wild hair and loud voice were famous across the country. He was the angry professor who said what many people were thinking. This fame gave him a new kind of power. He had the attention of the nation. He was no longer just talking about the problems. He was becoming a person who people thought could fix them. 5. The lion and politics. After many years of talking on television, Javier Milei decided it was time for a big change. He saw that many people in Argentina were unhappy with the government. They were tired of the country's money problems. Talking was not enough anymore. He wanted to take action. So he decided to enter the world of politics. To do this, he needed to start a new political group. He created a party called La Libertad Avanza. In English, the name means Liberty Advances. The name was very important. It showed everyone his main idea. He believed that Argentina needed more freedom. He thought the government had too much control over people's lives and their money. His new group was for people who wanted something different from the old, traditional political parties. It was a new choice for voters. Every new movement needs a strong symbol. Milei chose the lion. He started to call himself the lion. He said the lion is the king of the jungle and is strong and brave. He wanted to show people that he was not afraid to fight. At his events, he would often shake his wild hair so it looked like a lion's mane. He would roar like a lion when he spoke. This image was very powerful and easy for people to remember. He was not a quiet politician in a suit. He was the lion, ready for a battle. The lion symbol was not just for him. Milei had a message for the people of Argentina. He said that they were also lions, but they were sleeping. He told them that years of bad government made them quiet and tired. His job, he said, was to be the lion that wakes up all the other lions. He wanted the people to find their own strength and roar with him. This idea made many people feel powerful. They felt like they were part of a strong team that could change the country. Milei also gave his enemy a name. He called them the political caste. This was his special name for all the politicians who had been in power for many years. He said this group was like a club that only helped its own members. He told everyone that the caste did not care about normal people. He said they were corrupt and only wanted to keep their power and get rich. He promised to fight this caste and remove them from the government. His message was very clear. It was him, the lion, against the old, corrupt caste. This simple story helped his new political group grow very fast. He was now a real political leader. 6. The big election. The year 2023 was a very important time in Argentina. Javier Milei made a big decision. He wanted to run for president. He believed he could fix the country's serious money problems. His journey into politics was fast, but now he wanted the most important job in the government. Many people were surprised, but his supporters were very excited. They believed the lion was ready to lead. His campaign for president was very different from traditional campaigns. It was full of energy and noise. He traveled to different cities and held big events called rallies. Thousands of people came to see him. They waved flags with the lion's symbol and shouted his name. Milei did not give quiet speeches. He was loud and passionate. He walked around the stage and spoke directly to the crowds. He wanted them to feel his anger about the country's situation. He promised a big change, a revolution for Argentina. One of the most famous parts of his campaign was a tool he often brought on stage. It was a real working chainsaw. People were shocked to see a politician with a chainsaw. Of course, he did not use it to cut anything at the rallies. The chainsaw was a powerful symbol. It represented his main promise to the people. He said he would cut the government. He believed the government was too large and wasted a lot of money. He planned to remove many government jobs and departments. This idea of cutting spending was central to his campaign. His main message was clear and direct. In every speech, he repeated the same words, "There is no money." He explained that years of bad government left the country with no money to spend. He blamed the caste, the group of old politicians, for this problem. He said they used the country's money for themselves and their friends. His solution was simple: stop all unnecessary spending immediately. He said it would be difficult, but it was the only way to fix the economy for the future. When election day came, the people of Argentina had a choice. They could vote for the traditional politicians or they could vote for Milei's new ideas. Many people were unhappy with their lives. Prices for food and rent were very high, and it was hard to save money. They felt that the old politicians did not help them. They wanted a new leader who was different. The results of the election were a huge victory for Javier Milei. He won with more than 55% of the vote. The man who was a TV celebrity just a few years before was now the new president of Argentina. His win showed that the people wanted a completely new direction for their country. 7. The new president. Javier Milei was now the president of Argentina. The year was 2024 and his new job started. He was the leader of the country and he had a very difficult problem to solve. For many years, Argentina had serious money problems. The biggest issue was inflation. Inflation means that prices for everything like food and clothes go up very fast. Every month, people's money could buy less and less. It was a very hard situation for everyone living in the country. President Milei had a clear plan. His most important idea was called zero deficit. This was a simple but very strong rule for the government. It meant that the government could not spend more money than it received from taxes. It was like a family budget. You cannot spend more than you earn. For many years, the government of Argentina spent too much money. Milei said this had to stop immediately. He believed this was the only way to fix the country's economy and stop the high inflation for good. To make his plan work, Milei made some big changes right away. He started to cut government spending a lot. This was a difficult part of his plan because it affected many people. He closed some government offices and made other parts of the government smaller. He also stopped many government projects that were using a lot of money. He said these cuts were necessary. He told the people that the country did not have money for these things anymore. His goal was to make the government smaller and more efficient. He wanted to use the country's money in a much better way. After a few months, people started to see some results from these changes. The high inflation did not stop completely, but it started to go down slowly. Prices were still expensive, but they were not rising as quickly as they were before. For Milei and his team, this was a good sign. It showed that his plan was starting to work. He knew it was only the beginning of a long and difficult journey for the country. Milei also worked to build new relationships with other countries. He started to travel and meet with important people around the world. He wanted to show everyone that Argentina was a new country, open for business. He met with famous business leaders like Elon Musk. He also met with other political leaders like the former American president Donald Trump. His message was simple: Argentina is a good place to invest money and start new companies. He hoped these new friends would help bring jobs and money to his country. His first year was full of big actions and big ideas for the future. 8. The future. Today, life in Argentina is a challenge for many people. The cost of everyday things like food and transport is very high. For some families, their money does not last for the whole month. They have to make difficult choices about what they can buy, like choosing cheaper food or not buying new clothes. Some people worry about their jobs because the economy is changing fast, and some companies are smaller now. The government says these problems are necessary for a short time. It explains that the country must go through this hard period to fix bigger problems from the past. But for the people living this every day, it is a very difficult and uncertain time. President Milei understands that times are hard for the citizens. He often says that this difficult path is the only way to a better future. He has a big dream for Argentina. He wants it to be a rich and free country again, like it was more than 100 years ago. He believes that personal freedom is the most important thing. He wants people to make their own choices without many rules from the government. His vision is for a country where it is easy to start a new business and succeed. He thinks this will create more jobs and bring more money to everyone. In his speeches, he tells people to be strong and to believe in their country's great future. People in other countries are watching Argentina very closely. Leaders, business people, and economists around the world are interested in Milei's new ideas. His plan is very different from what many other countries are doing. Some experts think his plan is brave and will work in the end. They believe it could be an important lesson for other nations with similar economic problems. Other experts are not so sure. They worry that the changes are too big and happen too fast. They think it could be dangerous for the poorest people. Argentina is now a global test for these new economic ideas. Everyone is waiting to see the final result. Will the president's plan bring a new, bright future for the nation? Only time will give the real answer.